Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we have to go over some news involving the Philadelphia Flyers. Guys, we are in store for a pretty interesting trade deadline for your Flyers. So they're talking about a rebuild in Philly, right? But to what extent? Now, we assume that guys like Giroux are going to be out, more than likely Justin Braun. But now we're starting to hear some more names. Guys that were maybe going to stay may actually be on their way out. We've heard rumors about Rasmus Ristolainen. If a deal doesn't get done by the deadline, expect him to be gone. We're hearing very heavy sources about maybe a Travis Konecny trade. So there could be a lot of stuff going on in Philly as they look to clear out some more cap space. So we'll be going over that. So we're going to cover first number 70 on the Philadelphia Flyers, and that is Rasmus Ristolainen, one of the best names in the game. This is from Elliot Friedman. The Flyers could have interest in Jeff Petrie. They don't want to go backwards. They want to contend. I think Rasmus Ristolainen gets moved. He does want playoffs. So the reasoning for that is Jeff Petrie has a longer-term contract. So it's not a one-year rental thing if the Flyers were to acquire him. Now the question is, why would they acquire him now? They're probably going to want to be bad the rest of this season, kind of tank, and make that kind of deal in the summer. So if that does come up, I think a team like the Flyers could be in for Jeff Petrie this summer. I don't think a deal for that's going to get done right now. Ristolainen, though, on the other hand, it does sound like Risto is on his way out. This is from NHL Rumors Daily. Flyers extension talks with Ristolainen have heated up to the point that a reported $6.33 million annual average value offer is the benchmark both parties are working off of. So stay tuned here. There is real good potential for this to get done. So it's kind of been back and forth, really, for the past month and a half. It's been Risto's going, Risto's staying, Risto's going. It's been back and forth here. Rasmus Ristolainen's fate could be determined as early as this week. That was from Darren Drager. Nothing really came of that. And that's really the last we've heard about Risto, which could be good because I think they are looking to get a deal done there. We haven't heard him linked to any teams in the past really week now. So there could be progression toward that contract that we heard about. Now this is from Sam Karshidi. The Flyers are obviously showcasing Derek Brassard for a trade, playing him as a third-line center. They'd like to deal him before the deadline. He's productive when healthy. Derek Brassard is one of those guys. He's been a good NHL player. He was on the New York Rangers during their cup runs. They traded him to the Senators for Zibanejad. I think Rangers fans are pretty happy with that. So we went to Ottawa. He ended up going to the Islanders, spent last season with Arizona. He's kind of been a journeyman here over the past couple of seasons, and he's been pretty good for the Flyers here recently. Yes, the Flyers have been showcasing him. They brought Morgan Frost back down to the American Hockey League, and now they're allowing a guy like Derek Brassard to get maybe a little bit more value here ahead of the deadline, get his name out on the papers, get his name in the rumor mill, and try and create a market for Brassard. The Philadelphia Flyers would like to move forward Brassard before the deadline. So now we get more to the interesting stuff. So this is from David Pagnotta last week, and we've had a follow-up since then. The Maple Leafs and Devils have been linked to Flyers forward Travis Konecny. Now, that makes a lot of sense for both of those teams. They have their 1 and 2 centers. Travis Konecny on a really good playoff contending team, hopefully. Again, I'm not talking about the Devils in that sense, but they've got their 2 centers already. Konecny could be a really good third-line center or a top 6 winger. And I think that the versatility there is going to be attractive. And the fact that the Leafs and the Devils have been linked, there's 2 actual names out there that we've heard about. Now, I've also heard a report here from NHL Rumors. We could see something here, a pretty interesting deal. This is from NHL Trade Rumors. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Philadelphia Flyers could end up completing a deal before the deadline, and Justin Braun and Travis Konecny could be involved. This makes a lot of sense. The Leafs, a playoff team, trying to grab some rentals. Justin Braun adds he adds a defenseman to their group. They may be looking to move on from one of those guys like Dermott. So if they move one of those contracts, they bring in Justin Braun as a rental, a veteran, went deep in the playoffs with the San Jose Sharks a couple of years. Justin Braun could be a good rental fit. And Travis Konecny could be more of a long-term fit for this team. he kind of feels, again, Ilya Mikheyev has been good and sort of replacing what they lost in, I'm trying to remember, the guy that went to Edmonton, Zach Hyman. But I think Travis Konecny is a huge upgrade over Ilya Mikheyev, and I think 95% of you would agree with me on that. But because I'm an Islander fan and I have an Islanders background behind me, I'm sure there's a couple Maple Leaf fans that will just disagree just to disagree. So that's my thoughts on that. But I think that's really interesting that there is a lot of interest in maybe seeing a Konecny trade here before the deadline. Kind of interesting stuff. Now, this isn't really anything new, but we've heard more reports about Captain Claude Giroux. So, this is from Pierre LeBrun. The Flyers have told some teams if Giroux says he's ready to be traded, they're looking at a first-round pick, a young player, and a prospect. And then Colorado seemed very interested. Here in Carolina, also in the running. Florida is also among the suitors. So it's not just the Avalanche here. We're here in Carolina, Florida, some of the Sun Belt teams. There's going to be some interest for Giroux. I don't think there's any real surprise there. I know a lot of fans would like to see him, Ranger fans would like to see Giroux go there. I don't really see that happening. But that's going to be thrown out there as well. We already heard the price, looking for a first-round pick, young player, and prospect. So that's pretty expensive. The teams involved, Colorado, Carolina, and Florida. Now, we've heard some more teams linked to Claude Giroux. This from Kevin Allen. The Los Angeles Kings have been linked to Claude Giroux and Joe Pavelski, two veteran centers that are on expiring contracts, the rentals. And I think that would be a better fit than some of the younger guys in the bottom six, and maybe allows Quentin Byfield to develop a little bit longer if you bring in one of those guys in your depth chart. And honestly, Claude Giroux or Pavelski could play center. I think they'd probably put Giroux on the wing. But those are just some of the teams we're hearing about for the Flyers captain. I think what's interesting with Giroux is he's going to have a lot of say in what happens here, because inevitably, if he just says, I only want to go to the Colorado Avalanche, it's really going to be whatever the Avalanche are willing to give up. Now, the question is, would the Avalanche know that Giroux is that's the only team he'll go to? I don't know. I think Chuck Fletcher would like to keep that kind of in his holster, but I don't know how that's going to end up going. Giroux is a guy that's going to move, though, and I just wonder what the price will be, because we've seen teams give up the farm before. I mean, I remember, I want to say it was 2016, maybe 2017, the Arizona Coyotes traded Martin Hanzal to Minnesota. Yes, I know, this was Chuck Fletcher and the Flyers, now general manager up in Minnesota. They gave up 2 first-round picks, they gave up a prospect, they gave up a lot, and I don't know if there's going to be a team out there that will give up that price. And again, there was no no trade clause in that for Hanzal. So there's other things you have to consider. And I don't know if the Flyers are going to get truly what they want. They're not going to get the best price. It's going to be more where Giroux ends up wanting to go. So that's it for today's video, guys. Comment down below, leave some mock trades. Travis Konecny and Justin Braun to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that's an interesting thought there. The latest on Risto has been quiet, but if you want to keep Risto around, that may be a good thing. So they may be looking to get a contract done here in the next week or two. And yes, more teams linked to Claude Giroux. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.